Hi, welcome. So I'm starting this off. I've got my frame jig all set up. Well, it's been a process. The frame jig is a little more to set up than I'm looking over in the wrong spot. I always look over there, but the camera's right there. The frame jig is a little more to it than you would think. It's the first time setting up this jig, and so let me show you where I'm at. Let me set this down here. Can you see everything? Let's see here. Open that up a bit. Okay, so I just got back from D&M welding shop here on the island. These guys are great. I showed up like a half an hour before they closed, and Daniel was nice enough to stop what he was doing and cut my parts. So these are spacers for the axle that go in between right here. So my the distance between my swing arm is 9.5. So I have them cut these at, where are you at 3.5. So they'll space this out perfectly when I put my axle plates on there. So I got 9.5 space in between my axle plates, which are going to be 3/4, which is going to allow me to put a Harley rim on there. Basically a Harley stock rim, 3/4, not the 1-inch Harley rim. And that gives me a lot more choices because I'm going to put a disc brake over here. And I believe I talked to TC Brothers, and they sell a rim that's a 16 for a Harley, and I think the hub is like 6.5. And basically it fits inside of a Harley stock swing arm that's only like 8.5 or something like that. So I've got plenty of room to make spacers to keep my chain aligned with the counter sprocket here. I think I'll have to like get a custom spacer made for that axle. And plus, I'm going to be using my Rebel sprocket, and it's a smaller sprocket. And so I'll have to get a adapter plate made custom to bolt onto the hub, and then have someone machine the correct hole layout for my for the sprocket, so I can bolt that on. But I believe I'm measuring on my other bike, it's like 3/4 off the axle plate, and then I'll have plenty of room over here to get that caliper on there, the disc brake caliper on there. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then also I'll be doing I watched a build, a Honda Rebel build from Lane Split Boulevard. He built that really cool Honda Rebel bobber. I don't know, it's a bobber, it's a chopper basically. He put a hardtail from Voodoo Vintage on there, a bolt-on one. But he put a Harley Springer front end on that, and it's doable. And the way he did it was pretty freaking cool. These necks are a little bit bigger than the stock Harley neck. So I'll end up having to cut 1 inch off the top and 1 inch off the bottom, and get some, what do you call the cups for the bearings, put those in there. And then I believe he was saying he made some kind of sleeve, because you put them in there, I think they had a little wiggle room. So either he had that machined up, or he has a machine. I'm not sure if he has a lathe or not, but I'll have to get a sleeve made up to get those in there nice and tight and snug. So I'll have a Harley front end on there too. So that'll give me more options. So I want to run a front disc brake on. I believe I'm going to probably put a Harley Springer on the front. Either that, or this is down the road, but I might find not a real long Springer, but like a medium-sized Springer. And the issue I'm gonna have probably with that is I want to put a 19 or a 21-inch tire. So when I do that, it's going to raise the bike up, and then I might have to rake this down to like 30 degrees to stretch it out to pull the bike down, because the stock tires rims for this Rebel or 15, and the Harley rim that I'm going to put on here is a 16. So that's going to kick it up a bit, and then if I put that bigger tire, it's going to kick the whole bike up a lot more, and I want to keep the frame, you know, as level as I can. So, you know, I'm going to put the hardtail on here, and then down the road, before I get all this permanent, I want to get my rims, my tires on there, get it sitting on the ground, and see where I'm at, and then decide whether if I'm going to rake the front or not. And I act like I'm going to rake the front and hardtail this. This is the first time I'm doing this. And, you know, I'm being very cautious about it. I have confidence that I can pull this off, but all this layout, when you get, this is a 40-year-old frame, and it doesn't seem to have any defects, because once I put my my gauge on here, my digital angle finder on here, I got this sitting here because I was measuring to the axle from my frame where I'm going to be cutting it to keep this square. When I put all this on here, everything's pretty skookum. You know, my jig is set really level. This is 90, that's 90. When I set this on my frame right here, which is going to be one of the only things left, it's at 90. And my axle, this is the axle that goes on the Rebel, but I set this on this axle that's in this jig, and it's level. And I've got it equally spaced, and so I feel real confident that everything is where it's at. So where am I at here? I'm at 6 minutes. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm finding my height. This is set up for the 1/2-inch axle, but I got to go to this top one here, which is my 3/4. So I got to measure all this, lower this down, get my swing arm off here, because this is pretty much set for the stock swing arm. So now I know that this height is where it is for here, but I got to do the math and lower this down accordingly, do the math and minus, and get this right at where it's supposed to be too. So, and then I can get my swing arm off here. I can get my all thread, my 3/4 all thread, put them in these spacers, and get the axle plates put on there. And then I can start figuring out how the bottom rail is going to line into the axle plates. So I'll stop the video here. I just wanted to talk about that. I am going to do some videos of me, you know, doing a lot of the work. I know I've been doing these videos and just talking, but this is important stuff. And if you're trying this at home by yourself the first time, these jigs I've spent hours just getting the neck in there, getting the bike level, the frame level on the stand, this lined up. I mean, I spent a lot of time doing this, and it's still just close, but once I get the swing arm off here, this has to be perfect. It has to be perfectly level and everything. So that way, when you put your rim on there, the tire's not askewed one way or the other. You know, this has to be perfect. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to pull it off, but I got a long ways to go on fine-tuning all this. So I'm going to stop the video here, and I really appreciate you watching. Hopefully you'll subscribe. I got 18 subscribers now, maybe 19. I don't know. Maybe I got another one today. I haven't looked, but I'm trying to get to 50, because at 50 then I can go live. And I know I've probably told you this before. And then I can start doing live stuff. And because I want to interact with other people and talk about some different stuff other people's doing, other channels and stuff. So anyways, shoot, I'm already at 9 minutes. Thanks a lot for watching, and I will be back with the goods.